No, 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 no. You see, it's a gunfight. We both have guns. We aim, we fire, you die. Hey everybody, what's going on? Today we are going to be talking about this movie because I was over at my mom's the other day and this movie was on TV with commercials, and I got to watch about half of it. And man, I had not seen this movie in a long time, and I was like, you know what? Yep, we're gonna watch The Quick and the Dead, and I'm gonna talk about it. Today we're talking about Sam Raimi's The Quick and the Dead. I'll warn you, there's gonna be spoilers in this review because I mean, come on. The movie's been out a while. The movie's from '95, so we're gonna talk spoilers. If you don't want it spoiled, I love this movie. I recommend it highly. It's probably a cheap rental, I'm sure. I went and just bought it again. But I remember watching this around the time it came out on video, and I was instantly hooked. First of all, can we just say, how much star power can one movie have that hasn't been, that's not a Marvel movie that's been building up for 10 years? This movie, here's your list of characters. Sharon Stone is your main character. A supporting character is played by Russell Crowe. You have Tobin Bell as one of the villains. You have Lance Henriksen as a gunfighter. You have Gary Sinise in it a little bit. Let's see, who else can we add? Oh, we'll add Pat Hingle, Mark Boone Jr. Who else can we add? Oh, how about Keith David, who's amazing in this, what little bit he's in it. Who am I forgetting? Oh, Leonardo DiCaprio. Oh, and your villain is Gene Hackman. I mean, just think of just all of them together in one movie. It's just strange looking at it. Now, again, not all of them were probably as big as they are now, but seeing all them actors just together is awesome. And it was awesome back then because you knew who a lot of them were anyway at the time. At least some of them were in, especially like DiCaprio was very early in his career. So just all that star power together is, first of all, a big selling point for this movie. The movie is also just a really interesting revenge tale. We don't know at first why Sharon Stone's character wants to enter this gunfighting contest. Of course, you find out as the movie goes. She's angry at Gene Hackman's character for, we'll just say he killed her father or led to the death of her father. But she has to go through the other gunfighters to get to him. Even though she tries to get to him early, there's always something getting in her way, because the thing is, these gunfighters can challenge each other at any time. Anyone can challenge anyone, and Gene Hackman's character, Herod, he runs this town, so the deck is always stacked against everybody else. And he, of course, is an amazing, fast gunfighter, so he's going to be hard to beat. There's a lot of different stories going on. Again, you have Sharon Stone going after him. You have the townspeople hiring a gunfighter to kill Herod. So he has to figure out who that is. He does. Also, Leonardo DiCaprio plays Herod's son. So he wants the respect of his father. Russell Crowe plays Court. He is a former associate of Herod who renounced violence after Herod killed the leader of a church that was actually helping them. Tobin Bell, he plays a character who gets his stuff stolen from him from Sharon Stone's character and goes for revenge. Lance Henriksen is a loudmouth wannabe famous gunfighter who lies a lot. Keith David plays a traveling adventurer just looking for a good fight. There's just a lot of fun characters in this. Mark Boone Jr., his character, the way he's introduced is hilarious, because that's what the first of the movie does, is it introduces all these people. And Mark Boone Jr.'s character has escaped prison again. And they're like, how long were you in this time? And I can't remember how many days, but he was just like, 10 days. It's like, they gave me life. But he's a good shot because he steals someone's gun and they run and he shoots them for like a very far distance. So you have all these colorful characters getting together to have these gunfights. There's a Native American who can't be killed by bullet, you know. And that leads to an interesting scene involving Russell Crowe's character. So you just have all these colorful characters coming together, and they all have their own motives. So, but the main motive, of course, is Sharon Stone's character wanting to kill Gene Hackman's character. Again, I mentioned that this movie is directed by Sam Raimi, and I thought he did a really interesting job. Now, he does overuse a few tricks. They do the see the silhouette, and they've got a hole through them where the sunlight's getting through kind of thing. You see like a little hole on the shadow of light getting through. They do that a few times. The scene where one of the character gets his head blown off is kind of interesting because you see the gunfighter that did it through the guy's head. There's all sorts of just neat stuff like that they try to do. A lot of the camera shots are kind of interesting because they do a lot of zoom ins and zoom outs, and just whenever the gunfights are about ready to happen, because when they do the gunfights, they have to listen to this clock. So as they hear one click, and then they have 1 minute before they fire when the clock hits the top of the hour. So you just have this time waiting for the clock, and they're doing different zoom-ins, looking into people's eyes, and zooming in close to them and zooming out, and their hands on their guns and things like that, and just weird angles and everything. And the movie does this a ton. So sometimes it gets a little old, but it's still an interesting way of viewing the tension of these gunfights. Down to the end of it, it's mostly a revenge story. Again, as you go along, you find out why Sharon Stone's character wants to kill Herod and what really happened on that day when her father was killed. And then you have all these other stories going on around them. So it's just a really interesting take on a Western. Being that this is a Sam Raimi movie, I had to look this up, and I knew I'd looked it up before after I read it, but apparently there was a scene filmed with Bruce Campbell doing a cameo. It was supposed to be involved with a wedding. Leonardo DiCaprio's character gets married, but we don't see it. We just see the girl hold up a ring, and so I guess they were supposed to show the wedding, and Bruce Campbell was supposed to be involved, and I guess he was visiting Sam Raimi that day, and they're like, hey, why don't you be in the movie? But anyway, but he didn't end up in it, so that was kind of unfortunate. But yeah, man, this is just one of those movies. It's not just your typical Western, even though it feels like one at times. You have a lot of good actors in this, playing a lot of interesting parts. And man, this is just a movie. When I got to watch it again, I'm just sitting there. I watched that half at my mom's, and I'm just like, yeah, I gotta watch this. I gotta watch this again. It's been too long. It's just a movie that I really dig. It's a movie from a younger me loved, that an older me just watched again and still loved it every step of the way, that like I did when I was young. So anyway, I highly recommend this movie. It's The Quick and the Dead from Sam Raimi, and if you get a chance to check it out, if you haven't watched it, it's an interesting watch, and I do highly recommend it. Anyway, that's all for this review. See you later.